So I'm here with my cat Smokey on the couch. The reason I'm filming this on the couch is I have a lot of weird issues going on with Gulf War syndrome and my body's always hurting, so I lie down a good bit. So sorry about that, but what I want to talk about in this video is how the modern industrial society is very similar to an obese patient. And let me explain what I mean by that. So let's first talk about the obese patient. So a person goes into the doctor, they're significantly overweight. The doctor warns them, says, if you don't change your ways, you have maybe a year or two to live. You have to start eating better. You have to start exercising. You have to get off the fast food, the processed food. You have to eat more fruits, vegetables, you know the whole story. So obviously the person who's obese is used to eating a certain way. They find pleasure in food. It gives them dopamine. They're used to it. You know, it's become their behavior pattern. They don't want to change. Their answer to the doctor is, well, I like eating fast food. I like eating processed food. I like ice cream. You know, why? I don't want to give it up. And the doctor says, well, then we have a problem. And this is very similar to modern industrial society, where everyone is so used to the conveniences of transportation and air conditioning and heating, hot water, travel, you know, all the things we're used to, cheap food, Amazon.com, you know, all the modern comforts and conveniences that are very similar to the eating habits, the consumption habits of the obese patient. And so the obese patient says, well, you know what, I don't want to give up most of what I do. I tell you what I'll do. I know I'm eating 4 pints of Ben & Jerry's every night after dinner. I tell you what I'll do. I'll make the 4th pint low fat, and that'll be a step in the right direction. And very similarly, industrial society is saying, well, you can recycle, or you can bring your own shopping bag, or you can even buy an electric car, or maybe buy some power that's got carbon offsets for wind and solar. That's similar to changing the last pint of ice cream to low fat. And while it's not a bad thing to do, it's wholly insufficient for the magnitude of the problem the patient's facing. Same thing with society. In fact, it turns out that because of the way things work, not only does the 4th pint become low fat, it actually, the person eats the 4 pints of regular ice cream and then adds a 5th pint, but then makes that one low fat. That's the equivalent of us adding wind and solar power to our total energy mix. So more actually gets consumed in the end, although the last fraction of it is a little more efficient. So the bottom line is, and nobody wants to hear this, obviously the patient doesn't want to hear this, they need to completely change their lifestyle. They need to change, they have to eliminate all the fast food, eliminate all the processed food, return to a much simpler, calorically less dense set of diet, and get on vegetables and fruit and beans and rice and lean proteins to completely change the way their body works. And similarly, industrial society needs to go to public transport only, stop driving cars, you know, cut back on consumption of meat and dairy and other animal products by 80-90%, cut down on transportation, to completely stop flying. You know, these are things that most people won't do, but definitely don't want to do. And that's why there aren't going to be any changes. There's a group of liberals, or what I call, you know, techno-fix. You know, they're sort of believing that we can somehow technically fix this thing through technology and by substituting nuclear energy or green energy or whatever. But they won't address the underlying problem, which is the industrial growth of the entire economic system that always gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Just like the patient who refuses to stop eating any of their core diet and is only willing to talk about the consistency of their last pint of ice cream. And that's why industrial society is doomed to collapse.